Ghostbusters Afterlife is directed by Jason Reitman and produced by his father.
What are you doing here in
Pretty
Somerville
cool
anyway?
thing that
Honestly,
this film
my mom won't
is
say it, but we're
basically
completely
a
broke.
father and son project.
And the only thing that's left.
So I thought that already made this film pretty special, especially in the franchise, and tells a story about a family moving into an old house that was inherited by a former family member who died recently. And they pick up the scraps. They try to make a living out of everything because they got evicted from their house. And then all of a sudden, strange occurrences start happening in their town. And they start uncovering the secrets within this house and how this relative of theirs could be actually someone important from the past. He could be perhaps a Ghostbuster. And he has planned something for his family in the case that he did die. And so this is where I'm going to have to stop before I get into spoilers. The film, to me, was awesome. It is a flawed film, don't get me wrong. It has problems here and there, and I'll discuss them, but for the most part, I found myself very much engrossed in the story and the characters, and I love how the film was able to feel very distinctly different from the first movie, enough where it could be its own thing while having Ghostbusters element to have it feel like it fits in the universe. And I think Jason Reitman handles his directing style mixed in with all the Ghostbusters elements very well. Jason is a director that worked on smaller films before. I haven't seen any of his previous work. I'm going to have to do so, but from the bits and pieces I see here that are definitely Jason Reitman, it felt earnest. It felt somewhat honest, believable. The characters were likable. McKenna Grace was great in the film. Her character is basically the main character in the movie. She befriends a boy in summer school, and they start digging through the rubble of old proton packs, and they start learning about Egon. It was just, the elements of Ghostbusters here worked very well. And a lot of people like to call it fan service, but to me, I like it. I like the fan service here. For one, I understand that fan service can be bad and that could distract from a pretty lackluster story. But here, the story to me was pretty good. I was invested with this mother trying to take care of her kids, and her kids starting to discover something about Egon, who is their family relative. I'm pretty sure that's obvious from the trailers. I thought all that worked very well. The one problem I did have with the story was Finn Wolfhard's character. Now, he is very likable in the movie, but his character arc doesn't connect as much to the actual main story, in my opinion, and it kind of feels a little tacked on, but you eventually understand where it concludes to at the end. It just felt like in those first two acts, it needed a little bit more connective tissue. And I will admit there are some fan service things here and there that just felt like they were there for the sake of it. But for the most part, I gotta say again, the fan service was handled very well. Some things that may seem like it was just placed randomly were actually setups that I realized to a later scene that paid off really well. And for the most part, I think it was all well handled. And if I was not invested in the story and the characters, then the fan service would have been a detriment to me. So I think it's going to depend whether you are connecting to the characters in the movie or if you're invested in the story, is whether or not the fan service will be a distraction for you or a fun little spice on top of a meal. So that's just a little thing that I think audiences will probably be a bit divisive on, and I can understand that. Paul Rudd is great in the film. He plays a science teacher in summer school, and he is really funny, really likable. It's hard to not have Paul Rudd be likable. And the mother, played by Carrie Coon, she was amazing. I love her banter between her kids. Her performance was awesome. And she gets a lot of surprises in the film regarding her history with certain Ghostbusters characters. And I just loved her and her relationship with Paul Rudd's science teacher character. It was a really cool relationship that they had building in the film, and I thought it paid off very well. So overall, this was a great film. The directing also by Jason Reitman was great. You could tell that he had a lot of passion for this story. The cinematography is beautiful. The filmmaking and editing worked very well. Yes, the first few parts of the film were slower than the original movie. I had it backwards, but it felt like Jason Reitman, and it felt different enough from the first film where it could stand on its own. And while you do have to watch the first movie to get this movie, you can still have a really good time with this. This felt like Stranger Things, but with Ghostbusters. And I mean that in a positive way. Not just because Finn Wolfhard is in the movie, though that probably does have something to do with it. But the story had investing characters uncovering a supernatural event. And because you enjoy these characters, you fear for their lives, and you want to see them get through this mess. And so, for the most part, this was a great film. Definitely not perfect, but it was also a very fitting end to what they paid tribute to for Harold Ramis's character Egon from the past few films. They had a loving tribute in this film, and it was handled very well. I'm not going to tell you what they did with the character, but the things that they did with him, I thought they couldn't have done anything much more earnest and much more rewarding, especially for fans of the franchise. And I gotta say, as someone who only watched the first Ghostbusters from time to time on Netflix, this film had me not bawling at the end, but it had me crying in a happy sense. Like, it was a great ending. It was a great film, and go see it. It's really good. This is the Ghostbusters movie we've been waiting for 30 years actually. I'm thinking 40, I don't know. But overall, this was a great film. Ghostbusters Afterlife gets an A-. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys check out the film very soon. It's leagues better than that 2016 garbage, and probably my second favorite in the franchise. So overall, I highly recommend it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you guys next time.